Spoiler warning! On today's episode, we're talking about the following fandoms: Harry Potter, Shadowhunters, Grishaverse, Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and The Hunger Games.
So if you don't want to hear about these fandoms at the moment, or haven't read these books, maybe skip the second half of the podcast, but we'd love to have you along for the journey, and let us know what you think. Happy listening! Welcome to YABasic, the podcast where we avoid our adults' responsibilities and talk about reading YA fantasy.
I'm your host, Dani, and I think after discussing this episode, we have come to the conclusion that I am a bit too single.
And I'm your other host, Deadly, and after discussing this episode, I've definitely realised I've got daddy issues.
So, we're both a bit of a mess. Brilliant. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about all things fangirl. Fandoms, fanfiction, all the good stuff.
Yeah, we were kind of inspired by, I don't know if you guys have seen on the internet, but Destiel from Supernatural, spoiler alert, became canon. And we just thought the power of fandom, kind of, especially in YA books, is such a big part of everything. So we thought, why not kick off our second episode by discussing it?
Yeah, I think we definitely need to discuss it. Get everything out of the way, air all the dirty laundry, so we all know what sort of fandoms we're a part of, and we can just...
Yeah, and you guys can judge us freely, that's fine. We know that we're trash, but it's fun to be trash.
We acknowledge that.
Yeah, completely.
What's life without a bit of trash?
I mean, you wouldn't have YA fantasy if you didn't have trash, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
This morning, actually, I watched the YABasic stream with Lee Bardugo and Cassandra Clare.
Oh, really?
That happened. Yeah, it happened in the early hours of this morning because obviously it's in America.
Yes.
And we are not in America. But yeah, they did a whole stream on world building, and it was really, really cool. It was really good to listen to. It was really good that it's on Cass's story at the moment, but it will be on the YALFest Instagram for people to watch. So if you want to watch it, I definitely recommend it. It was really interesting. But those two are two of the biggest writers in most of the fandoms. The YA fandoms at the minute, so it was really good to see them both interact and talk about their different styles and like how their writing process is different and what they do. It's really good. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I think world building is such an important part of books as well, because it's the part that we as fans kind of carry on after the books. With fan fiction and art and like character creations and things. It's kind of in that world that the author has created. So I think that'd be really interesting to hear their thoughts behind that. And
one of the things that Lee said that made me think of this episode is that she writes all of her books to a point, and she isn't going to keep writing the same characters forever. But she's happy that the fandom carries it on in fan fiction and fan art, and that's what she likes to see. That's why she does it. She kind of brings the characters' stories to a bit of an end, and then that she wouldn't really go back to it. But yeah,
that's really cool. That's
very
nice
relevant.
Way. Yeah, definitely, and that's such a nice way for like an author to be about their fans.
Absolutely,
because I think with so many, I think we're obviously going to get into it, but with so many books, the fandom, I feel, is more powerful than the source material.
Absolutely, I agree.
I think, especially one of your main fandoms is Harry Potter.
She who shall not be named is what the fandom have taken to be calling her now.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, I think we've all really acknowledged that she's not a great person. But I think for a long time, Harry Potter has been about the fandom rather than the actual source material.
Absolutely.
I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't even know what's canon anymore. I don't know what's canon and what's not, and what we've made up. People keep saying things, and I'm like, is that real? Or did we make it up? So the other day, I found out on TikTok that Sirius Black's middle name is not Orion. That was made up. We made that up.
Was it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not canon. That was never mentioned.
That's so wild.
Like, it's never been mentioned in the books. I thought I would have died thinking that was canon.
Literally. Well, that's
Like,
what I mean. Like, the fandom is so powerful. Like, especially, I think, especially with Harry
exactly.
Potter, because it was kind of the era of people that kind of started growing up with the internet or started realizing the power of the internet.
Yeah,
And like places like Tumblr and now TikTok, where it kind of fandom was celebrated rather than something that you held to yourself.
yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and I think for people kind of insert the diversity that they wanted into Harry Potter into it, and the character development that they wanted, and it's
Definitely.
great.
Yeah. The main thing I love about Harry Potter is the Marauders era, and I think that's mostly because we had like the names of 4 characters and very little information on any of them, and then everyone just decided to make up what they thought was real because she never gave us any information about their lives before they were adults, or in James Lily's case, before they died.
Yeah,
And that's what I like about it, that we've just made everything up. Like that's just what it
completely.
is now. Like we made up our own canon. But another thing that has been spoke about recently is that they want well, it's always been a thing that everyone wants them to do an adaptation of the Marauders era into like a TV show or a film series or whatever. And like what you said, I don't know why people are asking. Well, I do know why, because that was my whole dream for years. I understand why you would want it, because it's good to see
Yeah,
your favorite things on screen, but we're not going to get the diversity that we want. We're not going to
no.
get the actors that we want, because that's just not going to happen. It didn't happen in Harry Potter. It's not going to happen in this, and they're going to make it
Yeah,
match. It didn't happen in Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic
So
Beasts. Yeah, that was their chance to kind of prove the diversity was like a thing that they were going to stick to, and they just haven't. So,
yeah,
um, but I mean, especially I actually have found the online Harry Potter fandom since all the kind of JK nastiness happened has been so much more vocal about kind of their beliefs and including characters of color and trans characters and kind of bringing this own headcanon forward and
absolutely.
really kind of making Harry Potter our own, because I guess we all did grow up with it and it's all such a big part of us. Like, we all know what house we're in.
Yeah,
It's just kind of like it was a cultural phenomenon, and I think we can't
yeah.
really turn it off. It's the really tricky thing.
Is very ingrained into our lives, but we
Yeah,
can like make it our own. We've
completely.
been very good at doing that. Like for example, some of the fan cast, they cast like so many different cultures. So like a lot of people fan cast the Potters as being like Asian.
Oh,
So they'd like be like Hindu or Sikh, and they embrace like that religion, like that side of it. That's one of the fan
amazing.
casts that's very popular. And
Mm,
then obviously you have Wolfstar,
yes.
that's a very like popular ship, and then that's almost canon now, I'd say. Apart from the fact that yeah, and then you have like so many headcanons of like characters being asexual. So a lot of people have Sirius Black as being asexual as
Mm,
well, or bisexual, and I think that that's really great. Like all of these things are just really great to see, and like you see like people adapting characters to modern day as well,
mm.
because they aren't set. They're like set in the 70s, and I think really that's probably half the reason that they're so
Yeah, oh,
problematic.
yeah, completely. It's like it hasn't. Thing is, I think people are holding it to a standard of how we hold today's literature, forgetting that it is very old.
Yeah,
Um, and like
yeah,
we have grown and adapted, but obviously the source material can't do that. And I mean, they could have done with
no,
Fantastic Beasts, but that's kind of a whole separate issue. But even like like obviously Tonks is very queer coded,
yeah,
and even Luna to an extent, and kind of especially I always headcanoned Rita Skeeter as trans, which I know kind of now
yeah,
seeing her storyline, it kind of does make sense. But she's described as having very masculine hands, drawn on eyebrows, fake nails, a kind of a wider build, but is still a woman. So as a kid, I just assumed that she was trans because I grew up in a household where I could ask. My mother works in mental health, so I could talk about those kind of things.
yeah,
So that's just kind of how I always accepted Rita. I didn't even ever need it to be canon, I think.
yeah, and that's how I saw like Hermione, like where they described her as having big bushy hair and
Yeah,
um,
completely.
everything that was like my hair. I was like, that's me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm mixed race. So I was like, oh, she looks like me. Obviously, that's not the direction they went with in the films, but definitely when I read the books, I was like, of course. I was like, of course she's
it makes
mixed racial, she's
complete
black.
sense with
Like,
her big bushy
definitely.
hair.
Her hair's like, her hair's very textured. It would make sense for that to happen. I guess
completely.
that's what she tried to do with Cursed Child, but
Yes,
too much
and
too late, I guess.
when I saw Cursed Child, it made complete sense. I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, it is that thing of like, if it was like remade now, it would be much more diverse and much more, well, we hope so.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like, for example, with Lee Bardugo in the Grishaverse series that they're making on Netflix, they cast that and they've made all of the characters extremely diverse. It's very ethnically diverse. The main character, Alina, she's Asian. She's been cast as an Asian actress. I can't remember her name.
That's great.
But like, yeah, a lot of the characters, and then some of the characters from like late other books are making an appearance in this series, and they're POC and queer, and yeah, they've just adapted it. Like, they weren't necessarily written like that in the book. I mean, they could have been. I guess you can interpret it that way, but they've definitely decided to adapt that. They would, because that's how it. That's it. We're in 2020. Like, that's just
completely.
what
And
they're going to do.
think the biggest example you can see of that is, I'm going to mention my favorite series of unfortunate events. Is in the original film. All the cast is white, like completely. And they actually fired Daniel Handler, who is Lemony Snicket, from the film because he wanted to hire more racially diverse people. So they literally fired the author from the film because he wanted a diverse cast, but we're not going to get into that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and in the Netflix series, he was at the helm again, so the cast is completely diverse. There's canon, like, LGBT characters, and when people on Twitter asked, like, oh, it's had some changes, he's like, yeah, well, I wrote these books, like, 15, 20 years ago. Of course I'm going to, like, move them with where society is. And also, like, of course, the snake charmer who travels to India isn't going to be white, like...
Yeah. So ridiculous.
Yeah, Billy Connolly. I mean, he was great in the movie, but no, not a patch on the Netflix series, which is fantastic, and I definitely recommend it. And that's probably actually my biggest fandom is Series of Unfortunate Events, and I'm in lots of like active groups on Facebook and Instagram, and I cosplay from it, and kind of I'm involved in. I used to, on Tumblr, discuss all like people's theories because the books leave everything quite open-ended. So there's a lot of kind of fan canon in my head that, again, I can't really separate from canon.
No, yeah, it's such a nightmare when you get right into the fandom and everyone's got these theories and you think, oh yeah, that definitely happened, and then you go back and think, no, it actually didn't.
Yeah.
I do that so much. I read a lot of fan fiction. I still do. I always have. To be honest, not as much as I used to. I used to stay up to like 3 a.m. reading fan fiction. And then my mum would come in and be like, what are you doing? And I'm sorry. And then I have to get up for school in like 2 hours. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I have no regrets. But yeah, it's just a big part of like fandoms. And have you ever written fan fiction, Deadly?
I think I tried to. And
have you ever published it?
No, I haven't published it. I've done like, I used to, I think I mentioned to you in our planning one, I used to read X-Men fan fiction. About like kind of the mutants we didn't really get to see much, and I used to do fan art of the fan fiction.
Oh wow!
And I used to do, and I've done like OCs and stuff, but I've never actually written fan fiction. What about you?
Yeah, I've written fan fiction. I've published fan fiction.
Oh my God!
It's still on fanfiction.net. I can't delete. I don't know the passwords to the accounts, so I can't delete them. They're stuck.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'll challenge all of you people listening to find the fan fiction that I wrote.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, you just won't be able to find it but it's dire. Like it's absolutely awful, and I'll be so embarrassed if it ever like gets dug up that it was me that wrote that. And then so I didn't. So the first one, which is the worst one that I wrote it with 3 other friends.
Oh,
who
okay,
I don't talk to anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Yeah, we don't really talk. One of them I definitely don't talk to anymore, but the other two, yeah, we just kind of like don't talk anymore. But they wrote it with me, so if any of them decide to expose me, I will not be happy because you're going down with it. You're going down with it because you also wrote it. And there's another one out there that's just it's honestly awful. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. And like sometimes I go back and read it to humble myself. If I'm ever getting like too big for my boots, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go back and read that dire fan fiction that I wrote because it's
Oh my
genuinely
god.
embarrassing. I'll give you a hint. It's Marauder's fan fiction.
Okay. I
That's
mean,
all
I
you're
could have seen that
getting.
coming. I definitely could have seen that
It's
coming.
terrible. Like, it's so bad. Like one time I was on Tumblr. I remember I was on Tumblr and I was scrolling through and it was like, oh, worst like fandom, like worst fanfiction tropes. And like the fanfiction that we'd written hit every single point that they'd made as being the worst fanfiction tropes. We had them in that story.
Oh my
It's
god.
embarrassing. Like, it's so bad. But some fanfiction's bad, some of it's good.
I mean, yeah, I've
Some
read some
fanfiction I would
fantastic
argue is better than
fanfiction.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue it's better than books sometimes. I've read better fan fiction than I have books. But
Completely.
some books I'm not really sure how they get published anyway. But some of it's just art. Like, obviously fiction that even gets published into books. Like Kissing Booth, that's not good. Well, that's not fair for me to say, I guess. It's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
I mean, I'll watch every single film that they bring out. Have you seen The Kissing Booth?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen The Kissing Booth on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
The
What,
ultimate
wait,
like chick.
give me like a quick rundown. What's the premise?
Oh my god. Okay, so it's about this girl called, I want to say Elle. I
Hmm.
think that's her name. I could be wrong. And she has like a guy best friend, and they're like BFFs, and they do everything together. And then her BFF has an older brother who is a bit of a bad boy. He's like moody. He's like broody. He's too cool for school. He's a bit of a bad boy. He has a motorbike, and like
Oh,
obviously they don't get on very well. And then hate obviously turns into passion, and then they like start seeing each other. But obviously it's her best friend's brother, so it's
hijinks
a bit
ensue, I'm
taboo.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so things happen due to
Oh my
that. But
god, I feel like
it
I
is
definitely need to watch that
cringe.
though. It sounds like absolute car crash TV,
Have
but
you
it
never
sounds
heard of it?
great. I think it sounds
Have you never
familiar, but
heard
I've
of
just
it?
never. I've heard of the Kissing Booth or whatever. Yeah, is it called the Kissing Booth? Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen it though, and I don't think Netflix has ever recommended it to me. So maybe I'm not watching enough trash because I feel like that's something
Oh
I would
my
love.
god. Yeah, so obviously yeah, the Kissing Booth was on Wattpad. It was a Wattpad
Oh, was it?
fan
Oh my god.
fiction. Yeah. I don't know if it's fan fiction or if it was just a story.
I mean,
But then it
if it's
got
on Wattpad
published by Wattpad and made into a book. Yeah.
though.
And then also After by Anna Todd. Have you heard of that?
No, I'm so out of the loop on these. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. So After by Anna Todd is One Direction fan fiction. It's Harry Styles fan fiction.
Incredible.
It's 50 Shades of Grey but with Harry Styles.
Oh wow.
And that was published on Wattpad and then it got made into a book. Obviously had to change all the names and stuff, and actually and
Yeah.
Harry Styles has a restraining order against the author
Oh my god.
because
How
he was like, it's really
juicy.
weird. But
Well,
it's not my cup of tea. I'll say that again. A lot of people love it, but it is not
yeah.
my cup of tea. But I'll watch every single film because it's just trash. And
And I
even
definitely think there's different types of fan fiction though. There's like My Mum Sold Me to One Direction, or there's like really, really, really well written stuff, which is like has like actual plot and thought out and really beautifully written. It's I feel like
oh,
whenever you say
absolutely,
fan fiction to people, they assume you mean the like
I was sold
wait.
to One Direction on
Yeah,
my 18th
I woke up
birthday.
and my
Yeah.
mum's telling me to One Direction on my 18th birthday. Yeah, literally. I mean, and
I don't read
that's
that fanfiction.
but that's the thing is, like, you mentioned 50 Shades, but that was Twilight fanfic.
Exactly. Well, but Twilight is My Chemical Romance fanfiction.
I feel
Did you know
but
that?
No, I did not. Oh my god, that is mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Because our friend Hannah is a massive My Chemical Romance fan, and she's a massive
Yes.
Twilight fan, and yeah, she based Edward on Gerard Way.
Oh my god,
Yeah, and
that
then
is
I think My
makes
Chemical
so much
Romance
sense.
made a song. Yeah, they made a song about what the hell's like. But
That's
yeah, I think
so
it
funny. I
mentions
love
Twilight or
that.
something.
That is iconic. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's really funny. I think, and then obviously we said that the Mortal Instruments,
Yeah, that was Potter
uh,
fanfic.
that was Harry Potter fanfiction.
Which was slightly problematic, but we love Cass.
Yeah,
Um,
but
yeah, I
like
think
no. I'm sorry,
it's
it's so funny. I just
it's really. But also, I think I was listening. There's a creator called Cartoon. I think she now goes by Core Evermore. She worked on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, and she was saying that basically she got the job because she was writing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fanfic, and now she's working for
iconic.
but then she was also saying anything that any creator does now, even if it's in canon with pre-existing characters. So all of James Bond now is fanfic because it's using pre-existing characters and they're giving it a new storyline. So
Exactly.
they
This is what I'm saying.
yeah, it's like fanfic is
Yeah,
so ingrained into our our culture now.
yeah. James Bond is fan fiction. That's what
Yeah,
we're getting from
confirmed.
this. James Bond is
Confirmed.
literal fan fiction. And then yeah, so yeah, exactly. But
Yeah, and
if
so is
so, if
Doctor
anything's
Who, and
really
so it's
made,
anything that's like already has pre-existing characters that someone is creating a new storyline for out of their own head. That is fanfiction.
yeah, like all the Scooby Doo's, I guess, are fan fiction now.
Yeah, completely.
Bob the
Because
Builder, fan
what else would it
fiction.
be? Like, yeah, lol,
Yeah,
Bob the Builder
exactly.
fanfic, Bob the Builder X reader. But it's, I think,
POV.
oh my god, I definitely think everyone's mind goes to the the kind of childish or the really smutty fanfic, rather than actually understanding that it's kind of a way for the fandom to get more out of these characters that they've really loved, or this world that they've really loved.
Of course,
And kind of,
I really struggle with like letting go of
mm,
characters. Like I am very much an advocate of if an author wants to write books and books and books and books and books about the same characters, I would buy every single book and read about those
yeah,
characters, and I
I
would
mean,
never get bored.
we're Shadowhunters
I
fans, so
don't
yeah.
believe. I mean, exactly. That's why I love Cass so much because she keeps going and she keeps giving us content, and I love it.
We just
I
eat it
wish every
up.
author did that.
We've ordered 3 editions of the new book.
Exactly. I mean, of course we have. Why wouldn't we? Why doesn't everyone? That's my like understanding of it. Why wouldn't everyone milk it?
Oh,
I
completely.
love it. So fan fiction is perfect for me. So many authors just like think, oh, I want to do something new, and I'm like, I don't want anything new. I want the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, and
That's why I really
so.
struggle with like books that are just a one-off, because I'm like, I
Oh
need a
yeah, same.
series. I need to attach to these characters and then never want to let them go.
I know, but especially sometimes, to be honest, if it's one book and I know it's one book,
Mm,
I can do it. I can do one book. I think, yeah, okay, I've only gotten for one book. I know I'm not going to get a series from it. Sometimes some series are better off being one book because the first
mm.
book's so good and then the second book is not good. Sometimes I'm like, should have just left it at one. But sometimes if I'm obsessed, I get obsessed with it. I've had 6 books of a book. I'm thinking, just carry on. Give me another 6. You've made 6. You can make 6 more.
We're in too
Keep
deep
going.
now. Yeah, completely.
So I'm like, oh, all I ever wanted was more Harry Potter stuff. Like, so I was like, I
Mm.
need Harry Potter fiction. I can't remember the first. So the first fanfiction. This is a really good opportunity for me to talk about how I got into fanfiction. Actually,
oh my god, okay.
It was completely by accident. Yeah, so I was just googling like things like Harry and Ron, and then
Oh no.
like Harry and Ron and Hermione and stuff. And then it comes up,
Yeah.
and it comes up like suggested underneath.
Yes, I do.
So you
Yeah.
start clicking random things. So it came up with Hermione. I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, what the fuck
Oh
is
no.
Hermione? So I'm like clicking, like clicked Hermione, it came up with all these like edits of like Draco and Hermione. And I'm sat there
Oh
like,
my god.
oh, what the hell? Bearing in mind I've never shipped Draco and Hermione, I don't ship it.
Yeah.
I'm stood there
I
like, oh
mean,
my god, what is this? I'm like intrigued. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never even heard of like mixing two people's names together for one. Like I just thought like I didn't even know what shipping meant. Like I didn't know anything.
yeah.
So then I click on this thing and I'm clicking Hermione and it comes up with this thing and it's like the Hermione Awards and I was like, what the fuck is that? So obviously me being curious, I just clicked it, went to this page and it was this whole website called the Hermione Awards and I was like, oh my god, what the hell is this?
Oh
So I'm
my
clicking
god.
random things like first place, second place, this and the other. I click this thing. I read this fan fiction. Don't know what it's called. I really couldn't tell you. It was the darkest.
Oh no.
Like, oh my god, what the? I don't even know how I wasn't traumatized from that because it was just. It was pretty much. It was pretty much fan fiction about like if Voldemort won. So if
Oh my
Harry
god.
died, yeah. And it was like it was horror. It was like Hermione was like some slave. Um, it was horrific. Like
Oh my
when I tell you, it was
god.
bad.
First
And
draft of Cursed
then,
Child.
and then like, yeah. Well, when I watched Cursed Child, and it was like they were keeping them as like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to give you
Yeah.
spoilers on it. You've seen Deadly. Like there's like a whole bit
Yeah. The
spoilers for
second
Cursed
act.
Child. I'm
Second
saying it
act.
now.
Yeah.
Second act where there's like a bit with like Muggleborns where they keep them in cages.
Mm.
Oh my god, that's pretty much what happens in this fanfiction. I'm saying like I was 12, 13 years old, so this was a good 10 years ago. I read this and like it was like fanfiction where Draco was like the only nice one and he like Hermione was like his slave. Like
No.
why I kept reading fanfiction after that is beyond me. But I didn't read stuff
Oh
like that after
no.
that. But it was just crazy, and like I was like, oh god. And then after that, I was like, oh, maybe there's some other things. And obviously, I found all
Yeah.
the nice fandom, like the nice fan fiction and stuff. But that was like my first. That's how I discovered fan fiction.
Oh my god. I'm trying to think how I. Oh, I know how I discovered fanfiction. Buckle up. So I used to be on a website called DeviantArt,
Oh god,
which
not.
well, yeah, which like I used to use it for doll photography because I'm a doll collector. But one day I was like searching up anime fan art because I used to be a big weeb. I probably still am. And I came
I probably
across.
still am.
I definitely am. I came across. I think it was Naruto. Not really dating myself. Like a Naruto picture with Sasuke, and I was like, "Ooh, this is spicy." And I was again probably about 12, 13. And I was like, oh, should I look at this? And then underneath there was fanfic, like in the description. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
Um, and from there it was like, oh, so I can actually look for characters I actually like and like
yeah,
get more. And then Monster High happened, which again links to that kind of dog collecting thing. And people used to write Monster High fan fiction. And like self inserts and stuff. And so I used to read them a
yeah.
lot because I was obsessed. And then that's kind of where my understanding of fandom came from, really.
It's always by accident, isn't it? You never hear
It
people.
is.
I guess it'd be different because it's very widely known, but it's always
I
by
know.
accident. Like,
Now there's like TikToks of
and
people talking about the best places to find it. It's mad.
like people are like shifting. Oh my god, I don't even know what that is. Like, I
Yeah,
can't
what
even.
what is shifting? We're probably aging ourselves now, but what is shifting?
Well, shifting's like I don't know a lot about it, but it's like I think people. It's like you teleport. you, so you, I'm sorry. Okay, you shift to an alternate universe. So this alternate universe would be where Harry Potter is an actual, so where magic exists. So people are going, and then like they shift, and then they're like at Hogwarts. So it's where there's a universe where Hogwarts is real. Also, if you wanted to shift, for example, with X-Men, like you were saying earlier, you'd shift to a place where mutants exist.
Real.
And all of the characters from Harry Potter or X-Men are real. They're not fictional there, they are real people. And you insert yourself into the situation. So you would insert yourself into like into their lives.
It's like an elevated self-insert or X-reader kind of.
Yeah, where you are actually, people are actually putting themselves into those situations, so they are actually doing them. I mean, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's a different. It's a different world from like coffee shop AUs that we grew up with.
Oh, I love a coffee shop AU. They're my favourites, to be honest.
Well, the fact that Shadowhunters, the TV show, literally did a coffee shop AU episode with Java Jace.
Stop it. I've never even thought of it like that.
Episode.
Coffee shop AU.
And that's my favourite. It's an alternate universe. It's an alternate universe.
I'm stupid. Why didn't I think that obviously it was AU? Like it was a nod to AU.
Yeah, that's why he's in a coffee shop and Anakin's party.
And they do like a ball.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm stupid. I'm like the queen of fanfiction. I didn't even know that was
Clary's self-insert fanfic. It was great, honestly. If you watch any episode,
Valentine's was cosplay. Like, oh yeah, it's literally not your cosplay thing, is it? And I was like,
yeah, they literally talk about cosplay. Oh my god, man! You should watch the Shadowhunters show if you haven't, because the fandom of Shadowhunters is wild.
Yeah,
that's another. But yeah, that episode is literally fanfiction.
Oh my god! Wow, that makes it even better for me.
Oh, completely. Nerdy Izzy is like our fan canon.
I love Nerdy Izzy. Yes. Oh my god.
That's like, anyway, that actually is so good. Yes. Okay.
I love that.
Back on track. So shifting.
Yeah,
and that's that. So
is that the new fanfiction now?
Is that like on TikTok then? Because I feel like a lot of fanfiction has like transported itself over to TikTok in the form of like POVs. And like there's obviously the big side of like Draco TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's
it's not on, I guess it's not on TikTok because you are actually doing it.
Oh yeah, you're doing it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But so they like script it. I think it's the whole thing where they script it so they talk about that. So they script that Draco's in love with them. So I guess it's like fanfiction in a sense.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's like a new version.
But then like, I guess it's real. So
yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's weird because I definitely think fandom over the years has changed. I think, especially since Tumblr kind of went under, like shipping and stuff is kind of very different. And I feel like as humans, we still do ship because it's kind of our something in our brain. It's like I like these two characters. Yeah, completely. I'm trying to think of anything.
And you romanticize things that you want to happen to yourself, really.
Completely. And I definitely think what people I think I never try and judge people's ships because a ship is something very personal to you. It's kind of what you want out of a relationship or what you are kind of projecting. Or what you want to explore, really. So if someone has a weird ship, I'll just be like, okay, because I'm not in their head, so I can't really understand what that means to them.
I'm the same, but to an extent. I
mean, we don't ship like.
To me, Yeah, obviously, like, not incest or anything. But if someone said to me, like, they ship, like, for example, like, Hermione, or like, a lot of people ship Fred and Hermione.
That's odd.
And I just don't see that. But I don't think I can go, no, obviously, Ron and Hermione are canons. Obviously, they're like, I would go, yeah, fairs, you ship that. I don't ship it. But it gets to a point, like, I'm very passionate about certain things. So if someone, this is very good at, like, the key example of this is when people ship Snape and Lily. I hate it. I hate it for many a reason, because Snape is not a good person. So to me, that's when I'm like, ugh, I might have an argument with you about that. But in general, I agree with you. Yes, if someone ships something different to me, I'm like,
think it's as long as it's a healthy ship. It's kind of the like with Shadowhunters. There are people who remember in the Facebook groups there was someone who shipped Luke and Clary, and Luke's like Clary's father figure, which is kind of even though we will dive into that in a second, how much daddy issues I have, I still am like, no.
But you don't have daddy issues in a sense that you want
no, not like
your
an actual
father
dad.
figure.
No. No, not like that.
But no,
mine are in the more
it's inappropriate.
Yeah, completely.
Like,
and
we
I
all
think,
like a bit of a strange thing. Like, that's fine.
Oh yeah, completely.
Like, I really like teacher student AUs for some reason. Why? I don't know. It's really inappropriate. It's not right. But I like reading them.
It's
I don't know.
something in your psyche that likes them. Exactly. Well, like, we'll get into it in a minute. We're going to talk about book boyfriends, but a lot of my characters are the kind of more not father figures, but more kind of imposing older males.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good segue into the
Yeah, we'll get into it because I really love this. This is a theory that Dani has come up with for book boyfriends, and you can introduce it.
So my theory is all book boyfriends fall into 4 categories. There's 4 categories, and I could fit every single book character who's nice. Well, I can fit every book, like pretty much most book characters who people like, the traditional book boyfriends, into those 4 categories.
Yeah.
So I've come up with names for them. So we've got the broody boys. These are the characters that are just they're full of angst. They've had a hard life, bless them. They have grown up maybe without parents, or something bad's happened to them, and they hold guilt in their heart, and they just think that they aren't ever allowed to be happy. They aren't allowed to love.
Yeah.
They are the broody boys. So that's the number 1. Then we go on to my personal favourite, the cheeky chaps. They are the ones that use humour as a coping mechanism. They're the jokers. They're lads. They've got the witty one-liners. They're always grinning. They want to diffuse the tension. They want to lighten a situation. They've always got a smile on their face. They're the great characters. They're light. They're funny. They're charismatic. Those types of characters. Then you've got
oh, here we go.
the gentle. We'll leave yours till last. We've got the gentle gents. These are the soft boys. These are the boys that you want to protect with your entire lives. They're sweet. They're caring. They're just they're just soft. You just want to look after them. They're angels.
We just want to hug them. You
just want to protect them. Like they deserve all the happiness and love and protection. And you've got those. And then you've got the dangerous daddies. Now these are the older men. They're the older guys. They're mature. They're held to a certain standard, so they're always introduced as being legends. This guy's a legend. You don't mess with him. He's scary. Like he's badass, and people are like maybe a little bit scared of him, intimidated by him. He's got something like he's always got a scowl on his face. If this guy's older and he scowls, he's a dangerous daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're going to go through all
Oh my god.
our book boyfriends and tell you what category they fall into.
Ready
You
to
can
get
start,
cancelled. Oh my
Deadly.
god. Am I going through my whole list or just one at a time?
We'll do one each. One. You
Okay.
do one, I'll do one.
Okay, well, this one we share, my first one, is Thomas Cresswell
Yeah.
from Stalking
Yeah,
Jack the
go for
Ripper.
Thomas.
He is a broody boy. He is a textbook broody boy. Completely kind of has that good old tragic backstory, a little bit kind of doesn't know social cues, uses
Yeah,
sarcasm as a kind of deflector mechanism.
yeah,
He's oh,
absolutely.
and
He's a
yeah, and
bit
I yeah,
mysterious, he's dark,
mysterious. And I
doesn't
often
have any
find with broody
friends.
boys, they're like the best in their field. So they're
Yeah,
like really good at what they do, and they don't have many friends, and they're just mysterious. Uh, and then as the character gets to know
interesting.
them, they kind of open up, and you fall in love with them completely. Um, and that
Yeah,
is Thomas Cresswell. What about you? What's your first on your
that's
list?
that's very similar to my one on my first
No.
list, which is Will Herondale.
Oh,
Will Herondale is the ultimate broody boy. He's he just he doesn't think he deserves love. He's cursed.
oh,
He's
yeah.
just reckless. He'll throw himself into any situation. Like he doesn't care for his own life.
So he's
He
from The Infernal
loves.
Devices by Cassandra Clare, which is
Yes,
the
yes.
prelude to Mortal Instruments.
I forget everyone does. Not everyone knows who Will Herondale is. Yes, he's just. Oh, he's so broody. He is just the epitome of broody boy. Like he gave broody its name.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
he's
sure.
he's the poster child for broody. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
he is.
he's got too many emotions for one small man. Um,
Exactly. Poor boy.
okay.
Do you want to
Oh,
say your second one?
my next one is Rowan Whitethorn from the Throne of Glass series, who is very clearly a dangerous daddy. So he is introduced kind of midway into the series, I would say. Um,
He's third book in, yeah.
Third book, yeah, so midway. And he's kind of heralded as Danny says, this kind of legend, an amazing warrior, very standoffish, very aloof. And then, kind of,
Yeah.
again, as you get to know him, you really kind of get to see why he is the way he is and how he got to where he is. And that is
He's
kind of
older, yeah, as well.
my. Yeah, completely. He's older. He's got a scowl, the signature scowl. And that is literally my kryptonite. And he's also got white hair, which is another off my list ticket. And tattoos. God, I really do have a type. Okay, we'll move
Yeah.
on to your second one.
Um, my second one is another Herondale. It's James Herondale. Um, he's like his dad. He's from the
Last Hours? Is it Last
Dark
Hours?
Art. The last, sorry, yeah, that's it. The
Yeah,
Last
Last
Hours
Hours.
series by Cassandra Clare. He's Will Herondale's son.
Oh,
Um,
he's a baby. We love
yeah,
him.
he's a broody boy, but I think he has the potential to be a cheeky chap. He's
Mm,
broody because he's not had the best time through childhood because he's a little bit different. He's a bit different. He's he got a bit bullied at school, so it's
mm.
turned him a little bit dark. But he's not quite as broody as his dad. He's just a little bit lost, bless him. He needs to find his way, but he's got to do some brooding before he gets to the point where he could be a cheeky chap. I think
Yeah.
he's very self-sacrificial, like his dad. He shares a lot of traits with his dad, but I think
It's,
in being his own person and obviously being half his mum, half his dad, I think he could get to the cheeky chappy.
yeah,
I
I
think
definitely
I've
think
got
he
faith in
could.
him, but yeah, definitely a
He's got
broody boy at this
potential.
point. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think that's
Yeah,
also the thing is they can change as the series go on because we've only had one book of Last Hours so far. Um,
They can the book boyfriends can change. They can fit into more than one category.
Yeah,
I think
they can evolve like
you could have two
Pokemon.
categories.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Uh,
like Rowan is a dangerous daddy, but he can also be a broody boy. I think.
oh, definitely. Yeah, it kind of is an overarching theme between book boyfriends. They should probably by the end be able to fit into all 4 boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my third one is Thorn from the Lunar Chronicles, Caswell Thorn. He's a cheeky chappy, isn't he? Yes, he is.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, completely. He's the first kind of character of that character type that I really was like, oh, I love him. Because I'm again usually a broody or a dangerous, but he is literally a goofball. Um, who kind of cares too much, really. Um, and his kind of story arc throughout the series is really fantastic. And Cress is also my favorite character. And they have a lot of interaction. So I think that probably affected my judgment on him. But I really love him, and Lunar Chronicles. It's probably the YA series that I would recommend to everyone.
Yeah.
It's the one I always say because it's only 4 books of the main story, and kind of it's just a really fantastic modern retelling of fairy tales. It's really diverse and interesting, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love Thorn.
Oh, he's great.
he's ultimate cheeky chap. He definitely fits into that
Yeah, that category.
section very well. He's comfortably in there.
Mm-hmm.
My third one was Rowan, but we've already spoke about Rowan, so I'll go on to my
Skip
fifth
ahead.
one. Yeah, he's Cassian from Actor, A Court of Thorn and Roses. He is just the love of my life. I think, you know what? I'm going to go with Cassian's a cheeky chap for me because he's like in your face, he's funny, he's always got something to say, he's witty, but you know what? He's a little bit of a soft boy, so I'm going to put him in the gentle gents as well, but only a little bit.
Yeah,
Because I think
as it
his
grows.
main persona, yeah, his main persona is that he's like a lad. He's like
Yeah.
center of attention. He's funny. He's just got that big personality, makes him a cheeky chap, but he's also a little bit of a soft boy. He's like, oh, I want to protect my friends. He's got a little bit of a soft spot for Nesta, which is
Oh,
sweet, and I just think he gives up. And he's like got such a good little relationship with Feyre, in like a sense that they're like brother and sister. They're so
yeah.
cute, and I just think, oh, I just love him so much. I'd die for him. I love him. And as soon as I read it and I met him, I was like, oh, he's a bit of a himbo, like
He
a
really
himbo.
is. He's complete himbo.
Yeah, he's like big war, like guy who's like really muscly and he's like, but he's not this. Like I don't want to say he's not stupid. He's not stupid. He's
No.
smart in a different sense. Like he's a good war strategist and
Yeah,
he's
but
good
I
at
feel
keeping
like
his team together and yeah.
yeah, definitely his character trait is kind of like lad, fun, joker, but
Yeah.
still kind of yeah, completely. Okay, what's my next one? Oh no,
Yeah.
this is where my list starts to divulge. Okay, next one on my list is Gwyn of the Hunt from what series?
You can
It's
just say Shadowhunters because I think
well,
he's in a
yeah,
few.
Shadowhunters. He's in a few. A lot of our list is from Shadowhunters. As you've probably guessed by now, we are complete trash for the angel people. But Gwyn is not an angel person, so Gwyn is the leader of the Wild Hunt, which is the kind of like the fairy ride of the dead, basically. And he is definitely firmly in dangerous daddy territory. Um,
Yeah.
so he's kind of famed as this almost kind of like Ares, God of War character. So very foreboding, ominous, scary, and then through the the Lady Midnight series, we kind of have got to see more of his character. And he's fantastic, and I really love him. And again, he is that kind of, I mean, he's definitely older. He's like an eldritch being, but
yeah, he's old. He's old as shit.
yeah, completely. And he has without too much spoilers, he has a really interesting relationship with Diana, and I really relate to Diana on many levels. So I definitely think that has like solidified me more. But I think before even his relationship with Diana, I was like, hi sir.
Yeah.
And I think I have a lot of interest in kind of like fabled characters, like these amazing like kings and characters of old that you actually meet and they're actually people. So that's the thing with like Rowan as well. It's like, oh, he's Rowan, and everyone's like, oh, but actually, when you get to see their personality, it gives them so much more depth. And that's what I really like.
Yeah, I like Gwyn. Not in a romantic sense, but I do like him. He's an interesting character. Yeah,
I would marry Gwyn, literally, happily. Take me off on your ghost horse right now.
Like. Yeah. Yeah. My next one is another cheeky chap, Fred Weasley from Harry Potter.
Hey.
I love Fred. Everyone knows Fred. He's just like cheeky. That's all I can describe him as. He is literally a cheeky chap. Like, he's a joker. He owns a joke shop. For Christ, well, he did. He owned a joke shop. He's funny. He just makes jokes at every turn. That's just where he is. He just makes people laugh, and I like to laugh, and that's why I like Fred. And I used to read Fred and Angelina fanfiction.
Oh my god, Angelina! I can definitely see you relating with Angelina. Yeah,
I love her. Yeah.
Wait, so
I was like, let's pretend I'm Angelina.
I haven't read or watched Harry Potter in a long time. Which twin is the twin that loses the ear?
George.
Okay, that tells me all I need to know.
And Fred loses his life.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, one loses an ear, the other loses a little bit more. Okay, next on my list.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, next on my list, which is kind of related, is Voldemort. So, listen, okay, so I don't know if I stand by this one now, but definitely growing up, and like, yeah, Tom Riddle to an extent, but like mostly Voldemort. Like, Tom Riddle was great, but I just love that snake-looking bitch. Like, I don't understand why. I think because I love fantastic villains, but he is literally the worst. And I'm like, when I think about it now, I'm like, how? And I really love snakes. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I think it's
so funny.
His power and his
and he's so dramatic and like completely. And like, so I used to back when we had VHSs. Woo. I used to wind back to the scene, where he goes to kill Harry's parents. Oh my god. And he opens the gate and like walks dramatically into the house with this like swirling cloaks. I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. I mean, my favourite character of Harry Potter are the Dementors, so I'm probably very messed up. But
each to their own.
But this I have an asterisk with, because I'm like, this was teenage me. Me now is like, he is a war criminal. But,
oh my gosh! Well, I mean, you can find someone like attractive in the way that they are, and not their beliefs. Obviously, I would hope it's not their beliefs because he's a fascist.
Oh my god! Literally, I see
where you're coming from now. I mean, yeah, I should hope you're not a fascist. But
imagine.
No, like you've said, like it's his drama and his like.
It's the sense of theatre, like, especially when and in the final battle when he does the announcements over the school, and it's like, Harry Potter come to die, and it's like so like interesting, and his whole struggle with
You're
the
like, get
Horcruxes.
it?
Yeah, I'm like, yes. So basically, Cursed Child is a
Yes!
self insert for me and Bellatrix. But yeah, and that's what I found really funny is when you put Fred, I was like, oh, do I have anyone from Harry Potter? And I was like, oh my god, how am I like? And I mean, yeah, I'll move on to you now because I'm about to be stoned to death.
Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah, sorry, that just makes my day. I love that. So my next one was Thomas, so I'll skip over that one because we've already spoke about Thomas.
Yes.
We're going on to Dmitry Belikov from the Vampire Academy series. He's Dangerous Daddy. He's not really old, but he is older. He's older than Rose by a good couple of years.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to say like 7 years.
Oof. I mean,
That's a good yeah, it's a bit. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not in any place to
Dimitri.
judge.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fine. Dimitri's like he's like one of the main characters in the book series. He's just when we first meet Dimitri, he just is just like a powerhouse. Like he's a legend. Everyone describes him as being a god. He's literally like everyone's like, oh yeah, Dimitri's a god. Like that's what he's like. He's just like phenomenal. He's a vampire. He's an evil vampire hunter. That's it's in its loosest term. I'm not going to go into it. That's obviously not what they're called, but for argument's sake, he's a badass vampire hunter, evil vampire hunter. He's really cool. He just gives off like he's like a bit of an instructor. So like I guess that's where like I get my like
Yeah, the teacher
student.
vibes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a bit of a teacher to Rose, who's the main character who's in Vampire Academy, and his
Okay.
love interest. And yeah, he's just really attractive. He's like got long hair, like long dark hair, and I'm like,
Ooh.
ooh, that's just a bit of me. I just love long hair in a guy,
Actually, the
especially
more
dark hair.
yeah, when I look at your list, I'm like, oh, long dark hair. Okay,
Yeah.
that does make sense.
You'll see more with long dark hair, so we'll carry on with the list. You go next.
Oh, my next one is my favorite. Is Alec Lightwood from Shadowhunters. Surprise, surprise. Um, so Alec
Alec.
is definitely a broody boy. He is kind of we're going to do a spoiler warning before the podcast anyway, but he is closeted gay in the first book. I think Clary like susses him in the first book, right?
Yeah, it's the first book. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, and he's like, what? Um, and he kind of has to come to terms with being himself throughout the series of Mortal Instruments, which is fantastic. And Magnus as a character was a character I really relate to anyway. And so I could really see why he was attracted to Alec because, again, I feel like I'm very similar to Magnus, and Alec as a character
Yeah,
is kind of what I love, which is probably why
definitely.
their relationship is so. That's probably my favorite ship, and it's canon.
Yeah,
We
your OTP.
and my OTP completely. And I really think Cassie wrote Alec really well, and she's talked in interviews about talking to her actual like LGBT friends to try and get a good read on like how it is growing up closeted and having to come out and having to kind of deal with that experience. And also, she made him like a freaking angel warrior. So it was more than that was all his character. He has much more, but it was really interesting to be
Yeah,
able to kind of see his character arc develop.
and he's got those pretty blue eyes that are just
Oh, and
to
he's
die for.
gorgeous.
So I
And
completely understand where you're going from.
Matthew Daddario playing him in Shadowhunters was perfect. I'm not
See,
taking any criticisms
I
at
wouldn't
this
say
point.
that. I like. I love Alec, but he's never been really like on my list of book boyfriends until I watched Shadowhunters, and I was like, oh shit, I love you. But
I
he's not on my list. But I love him.
well, I
He's so
think it
perfect as
was
Alec.
it was very. I find, as I've said, I think I've said it before, but Cassie always, her books always hit a beat with me where I am in my life. So Alec's storyline was kind of when I was in secondary school, and kind of trying to discover myself anyway. And when I was reading, I was like, oh, I'm really interested by like this Alec character. And then when Clary was like, oh, you got a crush on Jace, I was like, my mind is blown. And then kind of as it's grown, she has much more fantastic, diverse characters as well. And I kind of find myself drawn to them as well. And then when plot points are brought up about them, I'm like, oh. So I definitely think he's probably my number one book boyfriend because he was so important to me as a teenager.
Yeah, and then when you the way you describe that, I'm like, oh yeah, because Izzy's my favorite character. I'm like, yeah, I'm so much like Izzy. Like, you know, when Clary tells her, she's like, oh, is Alec gay? And she's like, you fucking tell anyone, I'll kill you. And I was like, that is just me. I was like, that's just me vibe all over, because
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
literally
exactly how I'd
you.
be. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I was like, yeah, and what? That's just so So yeah,
That is
I feel
actually,
that.
yeah, Izzy is so you.
Yeah,
I completely, whenever I read
I
it now,
know.
I'm just like, yeah, that's Dani.
I mean, I'm not going to
It's
pretend I
great. I
didn't
love
base
it.
my life on her and Ginny Weasley, but that's my whole personality
Yeah,
now.
completely.
Yeah,
But I also think that's a big part of why we read books, because we find so much about ourselves from them.
yeah, definitely. I agree. Who's my next one? Oh, next
Oh,
one.
your next one's a good
Finnick
one.
O'Dare. Finnick
Oh,
O'Dare in his
yes.
underwear. From the Hunger Games,
Where's Finnick?
obviously.
Oh, there
What a
he
guy.
is. Oh.
Oh my god. Wow, were we in 2013 Tumblr? Yeah, I love him. He's lovely. He's like funny, he's witty, he's like fancy a sugar cube. I'm like, yes, put the sugar cube in my mouth, please. I fancied him
Oh my
as soon as I
god.
met him in the Hunger Games. I was like, my life's complete. Thank you, Stephanie Meyer. Stephanie Meyer, that's not the right person. Suzanne Collins. I don't know what track I'm on, but I was
Stephanie
like, thank you
Meyer
very much, Suzanne
writing
Collins.
Finnick. Woof. Oh my
She could
god.
never.
No.
um, yeah, he's just funny. He's witty. He just does not care. He makes Katniss uncomfortable because he can, and he thinks it's amusing. Just things like that. He's just make him a cheeky chap. He's also a bit of a soft boy when it
He
comes to
is.
Annie,
Oh, Annie. Man,
but I
Hunger
love
Games I
him.
loved so much. It's such a good book series.
Yeah,
Actually, you mentioned Stephanie
yeah,
Meyer. We don't have anyone from Twilight on our list. But I just thought, why don't we
yeah.
quickly
Because we
ad
have
hoc?
taste.
Yeah, but like at the time, what team were you on?
I was on Team Jacob, but that's because I thought he was hot. Not because I thought they should be together. That's not because I thought
True.
they should be together. I just thought he was hot.
I mean, I was Team
I don't like
Jasper because
Edward
I
and I
was
don't
not
like Jacob.
interested. Yeah, I literally
You're
only cared
saying
about
Team Jasper
Jasper.
like Jasper was even a team.
No, well, Jasper for me, not for Bella. Ooh.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Um.
okay. Should I go on to my next one?
Yeah, if you want,
Oh my god, why
go
are
for
these
it.
all from Shadowhunters, Danny? Like literally all of them are from Shadowhunters.
Yeah. Oh my god, all of yours are.
I want to scream. Okay, okay.
Whoops.
Um, so should I just run through the Shadowhunters and then we can move on, or should I
Yeah,
keep coming back?
Yeah, because I only have one other one
Oh yeah,
from
you
that.
do.
So you can
Okay,
do
I'll quickly
yours.
run through.
Yeah.
Then you can go to your one, and then we can move on to other series because we should have just done a whole
Yeah.
Shadowhunters section.
Yeah.
So Gemcast says from the Infernal Devices, which is the same series that Will Herondale, Danny's first one, is from. So he is definitely. Where's my list gone? He's definitely a broody boy. He has some issues. He's frail and kind of
Frail.
yeah. Well, he
Just a
is.
bit.
He's dying. But I kind of my goth the teenage heart was like, oh my god, he's dying. It's so romantic. Um, because I have a thing for like vampires and kind of that obsession with the macabre. And his whole like journey with Silent Brothers and thing is so interesting and great. And I'm glad we've got more stories with him with the Shadow Market book. I really enjoyed that. I
Yeah.
thought it was really, and we got kind of more insight into a lot more characters through that book, which was really great. Okay, and then my next one is also a Carstairs, which is Alistair from the new Last Hours series. He is fantastic. He is a broody boy, and I feel like I just want him to be happy, basically, because he's got a lot of.
Yeah.
He's kind of got like early Alec feelings,
He
where
needs
he's
a lot
just
of psychological evaluation.
yeah, he's just angry at the world, and he just needs love. That's the thing, and then he,
Yeah.
through his own hubris, has messed up his chances at that. Because
Whoops.
he
Oh
lashed
well.
out at the wrong people and was horrible in his past, is trying to atone for that, but has, yeah, I think his story is going to be really, hopefully, really good. And I just want him to be happy, you know. And then
Yeah,
related to
I
that is
agree.
Thomas Lightwood, because yeah, I want that is my current Shadowhunter ship, which we don't know if they will be canon. We hope, but Alistair and Thomas
Yeah.
is like the
All
one.
all of yours are Lightwoods and Carstairs.
I know they are. I haven't got
Apart from
one
Gwyn.
Herondale.
Nearly all of mine are Herondales.
That's
Weird.
so funny. That is
Um,
weird.
yeah,
I
funny.
never
Oh
even
well, no
realised.
fighting between us two.
No, we'll
Yeah.
just take the family rings from each one. That's fine.
um, yeah, so my Shadowhunters one, my last one, is Simon Lewis. I love him. You know what? I'll admit, I didn't like him to begin with. I didn't. I
Scandal.
really, really was Team Jace. I was like, Jace. I love Jace. Um, but then after we got over Clary, I was like, you know what? You're a top-notch guy. I really
Mm,
like you. And then he's just everything I want in a boyfriend. He's nerdy. He's cute. He's got glasses. He's got dark hair. He's the best. I love him. He's just. Did I tell you what he was? No. He's a cheeky chap. Obviously, he's very.
yes.
He's just like always got those one-liners. He doesn't know how to manage in a situation without cracking a joke. He can't be serious. He doesn't know the meaning of the word serious. Um, yeah,
He's
he's
fantastic.
just funny. He's a
He
bit of
is
a
the best.
disaster. He doesn't always make the right decisions, but he's right. His heart is in the right place, and he just tries best. And I love him for that. And he's just my favorite. I love him. I'll treasure him.
Yes. We stand Simon in this house completely.
We love that boy.
He's so great. Uh, yeah. Okay. Who's next? Who's next? Oh my god, I've got fucking Murtagh from Aragon.
Why have you
Daddy,
put? Why have you put the thing and then put no?
you put that.
Did
So
I?
we, yes. You were like,
Why
no.
would I
Okay,
put that?
I didn't put it. Unless it's them ghosts. We have a shared
Weird.
notes with our boyfriends on them because that is the level we are at. And it says Murtagh Broody Boy. No! So I don't know where that came from. I assume Danny put it on there. But he, yeah, he is Broody Boy. He's that darker character, which is all mysterious. So, but not to the level of Dangerous Daddy, where he's kind of revered because he's not. He's kind of just mysterious, and you don't really know why. Um, yeah, he's great.
Did you say he was from Aragon?
I think he's from Aragon.
No, yeah, no. I just didn't know if you said that
Yeah,
he was from
yeah, yeah,
Aragon
yeah,
or
yeah.
not.
He's from Aragon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I doubted myself for a second there. I was like, yeah, yeah. No, he's from Aragon. The Inheritance Cycle, which we are planning to do a reread of, and then a full review because we are Team Aragon in this house.
Yes. Yeah, he's a good one. I used to fancy Myrtle really badly, so I completely get why he's on your list.
A lot of mine are
Who's
from
my
my
next one?
teenage years, and I feel like I just haven't grown out of them.
Oh my god, so are mine. Don't. Speaking of, my next one is Percy Jackson, who's obviously a cheeky chap. He's just the
Yes.
epitome of cheeky chap. Like, I mean, that kid he was just so witty. His personality was like so attractive to me. I didn't even
He's
care what
great.
he looked like. I was like, I just love Percy. He's the best. He's like funny, always just making the best out of a situation. I love him. My favourite, him and Annabeth were goals, literal goals. I love him.
Oh,
Your turn.
yeah, man. Okay, oh god, we're bouncing back and forth. Yeah, we actually need to speed through because we've been talking about our boyfriends for a while.
Yeah.
So, I've got Lord Asriel from His Dark Materials.
I'm sorry,
Specifically,
yours are so random. It's so funny.
they literally are, but and he's a dangerous daddy. This is the problem. They're all dangerous daddies. Um, Especially in the book, because basically the way he's introduced is kind of this far off explorer who Lyra can't really talk to because he's very distant, always scowling, lol. Um, and he has a very interesting character journey, which I'm not going to go into because Dani hasn't read them yet, and I don't want to spoil or anything. But yeah, just say daddy issues galore. If you're gonna if you're gonna simp, then Lord Asriel's your
He's the
daddy
ultimate dab.
issues. Yeah. Do you want
Dilf,
to go on to your...
dilf, dilf, dilf.
Oh my god. Do you want to go on to... Oh, your next one's good.
Oh, yeah. Next one is Kaz Brecker from the Six of Crows books by Leda Bardugo. He's just the ultimate broody boy. This guy, oh Jesus, he's had a lot of trauma in his life, and he is just really, really hiding behind his bad attitude for this trauma. It's bad. I won't tell you much about it because Deadly has not read them yet.
Okay.
But
I've
yeah,
just seen
this
fan
boy's
art.
had a traumatic life, and he's like he's a gangster, and he really does hide behind that like facade of being like a
Facade.
badass. Like nothing bothers me. He's just, you know, like an ultimate badass. He's a bit like a Peaky Blinder. He gives me Peaky Blinder vibes, like that kind of brood. He's like, oh, I'm a gangster, I'm
Okay, I
badass. And you
see.
know what?
I
I
see.
just find it really attractive. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a broody boy,
no, I
100%.
get that. Good old Peaky Blinder vibes. So
Yeah.
my next one. Why are all my call-outs? Danny!
You
My
chose
next
them.
one... my subconscious chose them. I am at the whims of my brain. My next one is Count Olaf from a series of unfortunate events, which is a major lol. I also love Jack Snicket from series of unfortunate events, which is a little bit more appropriate because he's Nathan Fillion. But Count Olaf again falls into that kind of... I'm making myself sound like someone who just loves murderers, but he kind of has but he I don't know, he's again dramatic. I think I have a thing for like really dramatic people. And he's always in a different costume and really has a flair for things, and he used to terrify me as a child. I was like, oh my god, no. And then I think probably it was during the Netflix series with Neil Patrick Harris as him. I was like, oh, he's fantastic. Like, he is such a parody of what an actor is, and such a kind
Yeah.
of maniac that I'm like, yes, absolutely. And it also helps that my favorite character is Esme Squalor, and they go together as kind of like an evil duo. So it worked. Yeah, because Danny also needs to read and watch series of unfortunate events, so I'm not gonna divulge. But they're kind of like almost like Team Rocket, like a
Ah,
bad
right.
duo
Okay.
that literally get up to so much hijinks, but it never goes right. Um, but
Amazing.
but they're a lot more murderous, and it's great. And they're always in different costumes and like crazy outfits, and they run a circus and they invade a hospital, and yeah, it's really good fun. And
Huh.
yeah, he's on my list. But also, yeah, Jacques Snicket. who is a secret agent in the show, who is Nathan Fillion with a pencil mustache. So that's all you need to know.
Oh, well. Speaking of duos, who are both on my list is James Potter and Sirius Black. We're getting two out of the way. We're going two at a time now. So James Potter is definitely a cheeky chap. He's like a joker. He doesn't know how to behave. He doesn't know how to not make a joke. Even he doesn't read a room, and he doesn't know when's not an appropriate time to make a joke. Obviously. Well, this is one taken from Fanfiction because we don't know anything about him from the books. But I've gone for Sirius Black to be a dangerous daddy because I fancy him when he's dad age as well. To be honest, Gary Oldman
Fair.
could rail me. I wouldn't say, if he was
oh my god, we've definitely named it.
I'd be like, yeah.
We've named this episode right, definitely.
You're thirsty.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a drink.
Go for it.
Oh my god.
Black is just the love of my life. I love him. I'll always love him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Sirius, really. We all know why he's attractive. And again, another one with the dark long hair.
Yeah, the dark long hair, does it?
I have a type, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's better than mine, Mass Murderers. It's all, because literally my other, in terms of anime and film, I love Anakin Skywalker and so we're just not going to open that can of worms. My next one is Lorcan from the Throne of Glass series. We definitely should have grouped these, but hey ho. Lorcan, at the start, I was like, I hate him. Absolutely not gonna deal with him. And then I loved him. And that kind of enemies to lovers trope is great. Oh, sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat. Yeah, and his kind of how he interacts with the lead is really, really kind of opens him up as a character, and you get to see different layers, which is great. And that kind of dangerous daddy exterior melts away. Yeah, a lot of the kind of Sarah J. Maas characters are. Yeah, actually, it's mostly. I don't really have anyone from ACOTAR. Not really. I mean, I like Lucian enough. I like Lucian in the first book, but after that, not really. So yeah.
Yeah. Good choice. Mm-hmm. My next one is Hunt Athalar from Crescent City.
Yes.
He's dangerous daddy. He's old. He's a badass.
Textbook.
He's pretty sure they were like, he's a legend. He's a god. He was this, that, and the other. He's badass. He's got muscles upon muscles upon muscles. He's like scowls a lot. You know, that dangerous daddy scowl. That's what we're going for. He's just hot. I don't know. I just love him. I like his personality. You know what? He could talk to me. Do you know what I mean? Just something about him is attractive.
Just want him to talk down to you.
Foot fetish and all. I'll look past it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's not like me at all. I don't like that.
No. But hey, the heart wants.
Something about him.
Okay, last one on my list is Marco from the Night Circus, who is my only cheeky chap. No, I've got Thorn as well. I haven't got any soft boys though, or gentle gents. None of us have.
Oh, you do. You do, Thomas.
He's not a gentle gent. He's a broody boy. Oh, Thomas, other Thomas. It
says gentle gent.
Thomas Lightwood.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Thomas Lightwood. I was looking at Cresswell. Yeah, so Marco is in the Night Circus. He is there. The main plot is about two magicians, and he is one of the two. And his kind of style of magic is a lot of trickery and illusion. And the kind of how the story progresses, he shows his affection in very cheeky ways, and I really love it. And I loved the Night Circus, so I listened to it as an audiobook, and the voice actor that they had for him had quite like a husky voice, like a very almost kind of soft spoken.
Ooh,
And it
yeah.
was really, it made, because he was kind of being cheeky, but also was really kind of calm and husky. It was amazing. I was like, this is an audio experience. So yeah, and that's I think that's the end of my list. I mean, I've already exposed myself enough. If you wanna
Yeah,
expose the rest of you.
I'm just gonna do the last two. I'm just gonna do
Mm-hmm.
two at once. So my last two are Nikolai and um, King Nikolai Landstov from Grishaverse,
Mm-hmm.
and then Tyler Jones from Aurora Rising, and I'm grouping them together because they're both cheeky chappies. They're both very similar in the way that they are. Tyler Jones is a captain. Nikolai's like a bit of a privateer. He's like a prince. He's royal, and they both like come up like they're in a position of power, but they're fun with it. They're fun. They're admirable. They get on with their crew. They're not like dictators. That they're funny. They care. They've both got some personality. You know, it's not like your traditional like ruler who's like really stone faced, and you know, they're fun. They're funny. They've got great personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I love them both. They're both
Great.
blonde, which is a little bit
Ooh,
different to the others because
diverting.
all of them are
Yeah.
really. No one had dark hair apart from Fred. Oh, it's either dark hair, ginger, or blonde for me. Mostly dark hair, but the other
Wait,
two are there's two ginger and two dark hairs. But
I'm gonna quickly look at mine and
uh,
see what mine are. Mine are all dark haired, except all white, dark or white hair, literally. Oh my god, they literally
wow,
are.
what
Okay,
a
well that's
type. We
something.
have types.
We do.
Fun.
Um,
Anyway,
we have definitely rambled on way longer than we should have about this, but we hope
Jesus,
you
yeah, I know.
we hope you enjoyed these rambles, and definitely hit us up on Instagram, YABasic, with your book boyfriends, because we want to share the thirst. We
Yeah, share
uh,
your boyfriends and tell us what bit who they fall into. So if they're a broody boy or
yeah,
a cheeky chap.
yeah, we'll do a post
Yeah,
with the four different categories, and you can comment underneath the day this podcast comes out. And
yeah,
so what we're going to do next is our currently reading or book of the month, kind of something we recommend or kind of would like you to read, or you can read along with us.
yeah. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. So, a book that I read this month. I'll do two. I read a book series, which I should have written. I should have read a long time ago. It's a very well known book series called A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Um, I'll read the blurb for this one. It says, most people only know one London, but what if there were several? Kell is one of the last travellers, magicians with a rare ability to travel between parallel Londons. There is Grey London, dirty, crowded, and without magic, home to the Mad King George III. There is Red London, where life and magic are revered. Then White London, ruled by whoever has murdered their way to the throne. But once upon a time there was Black London. Dot dot dot. Um, it was phenomenal. The book series was, I just couldn't put them down. Like I read them so fast. I think I read all three of them within a week, and
Oh my
the last
god,
one is hefty. So that was really a massive like push for me. And I'd just come out of a reading slump, so it really got me back into reading. They're so fast paced. They're fun. The main characters are just so interesting. I loved all of them. I'm desperate for more, and I've just found out that she's writing three new books for that
oh
series
my
that
god,
have the
really?
same character. Well, they has different characters in, but it does have the old characters in as well. And I'm so excited to read them. They were amazing. I
Amazing.
couldn't recommend them
They
enough.
sound really good. I've heard
And
obviously about them for ages, no, but never read them. But they sound
yes,
fantastic.
they're so good. You would love them. Like it has a queer romance in. It's queer
Oh
characters in.
yes, we love.
Really, just really great characters that don't necessarily um they're not like, they don't really conform to like gender norms and stuff. So it's just really great. Like there's POC characters in there as well. It's it's just really great. I really loved the story. I love the characters. It was a great world. A really good concept as well. So I really do recommend that.
Cool.
Do you want to do your next one?
Yeah, I'll do mine and then you can do your second. So mine is, I've literally been finishing this book for like over a month on Audible. But it's the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I still literally have like 20 minutes left. But I know I'm at the point where it's kind of wrapping up. So I can recommend the series because I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. It's so Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerry Maniscalco. I will read the blurb on the first book, and then I will do a quick spoiler-free review. Okay. 17-year-old Audrey Rose Wadsworth was born a lord's daughter, with a life of wealth and privilege stretched out before her. But before the social teas and silk dress fittings, she leads a forbidden secret life. Against her stern father's wishes and society's expectations, Audrey often slips away to her uncle's laboratory to study the gruesome practice of forensic medicine. When her work on a string of savagely killed corpses drags Audrey Rose into the investigation of a serial murderer, her search for answers brings her close to her own sheltered world. The shocking story twists and turns, augmented with real sinister period photos, will make this dazzling debut for author Kerry Maniscalco impossible to forget. I literally stumbled through that, but the books are fantastic. As Dani said, she recommended them to me because she said that they were like so me, and they are so me. So it's as it says, it's about a kind of a Victorian high society girl before her coming out, pursuing forensic medicine, and it's based around the time of Jack the Ripper, and kind of follows forensic medicine at that time and being a woman at that time. And it's really progressive and really interesting, really diverse, really beautifully written as well. And it has Thomas Creswell, so what more can you want?
Yes, I agree. Definitely read it if that's something you sound like you would like. It's a really good series. I loved it. So I'm glad you liked it too, Deadly.
Yeah, it's literally up there
Speaking of
probably with my favourite series. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
if not, don't worry. So speaking of Deadly, the book that I read this month as well that I cannot stress enough that everyone needs to read is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Oh my gosh, I loved this book series. This book, it's the first one what I think is going to, well, I hope, because it left it on a bit of a cliffy at the end, it's going to be a series. I'll read the blurb to you. It says, enter a school of magic unlike any you have ever encountered. There are no teachers, no holidays, friendships are purely strategic, and the odds of survival are never equal. Once you're inside, there are only two ways out. You graduate or you die. Elle Higgins is uniquely prepared for the school's many dangers. She may be without allies, but she possesses a dark power strong enough to level mountains and wipe out untold millions. Never mind easily destroy the countless monsters that prowl the school. Except she might accidentally kill all the other students too. So Elle is trying her hardest not to use it. That is, unless she has no other choice. Honestly, this book was so good. If it's about magical school, it's about it didn't get good reviews. The book didn't have really great reviews, which made me a bit upset, but it is the first one. It's got a lot of world building and you're getting to know the characters. And I honestly think that this series is going to be really good. The main character, Elle, she's so witty and funny, and if you're British, you'll really appreciate like the way she talks. It's like very British. I can't even explain, like not.
That's it. Oh my god.
Not in the way that Harry Potter's British, like, oh, I'm really well spoken. It's like
crumbs,
she's from
yeah.
She's like, yeah, oh bloody hell. She's like she's from Manchester. She's like really like she's
Oh my god.
northern, so she's like the way she comes across, like the way she acts, she's like she doesn't give a crap. She's great. It's so good. I just really loved it. Definitely read it. It's not too long either.
Yeah, it looks really.
Yeah, and
you sent it
if
to me
you
on
like
Woodstock. It looks really good. Oh.
yeah, if you like Harry Potter and you're looking for something a bit different that's got like magic, and it's not like Harry Potter, it's not the same. The magic is different. It's not the same, but it's if you're looking for something magical about school
Yeah,
and like
to fill that kind of magical
kids, like,
school
it's
void.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
this is I definitely recommend it. It's really good. Yeah, I think that brings us to the end of this month's episode.
Yeah, it's
You're
been a fun one.
thirsty. It
I
has,
can't
yeah.
believe we just exposed ourselves like this. And it's only episode 2, so welcome along for the ride, guys.
Exactly. Like we said last episode, if you've got anything you want us to talk about, please let us know on Instagram or Twitter. We are at YABasic podcast.
Yeah, or you can comment
Um,
on our YouTube as well if you are watching there. Let us know.
please do comment and like and subscribe and follow us on Spotify. And yeah, just let us know what you think. We love the feedback.
Yeah, completely. And it's been really lovely to have such a response just from the first episode. And we are here to discuss things you like. Yeah, completely. It's been mind blowing.
I'm so thankful. Yeah, we were just really happy with the way the first episode went. So we hope that this one has been just as good for everyone.
Yeah. And we hope to do more. Well, we will do more. And we will see you guys
Yeah.
next month.
Yes, we'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye.